Hello and welcome to this session on handball, which is based specifically for our first year referees. This is one of the sessions that came in as a request to go over, so we're going to cover sort of two key things in this session around handball. The first is sort of reviewing what law states about handball. Really important that we know what law actually says before going to sort of any other further decision making processes, but also look at what is and what isn't handball, as I'm sure you will agree there's definitely a lack of clarity and understanding in places around what handball actually is. So firstly, in terms of what law says, a little bit of a background to it as well. So handball is the most unclear area of law, and there's a lot of lack of clarity, lots of confusion, inconsistencies. People aren't necessarily too sure exactly what handball is. As I'm sure you've seen as either referees or previous players. What a referee is going to give us handball one week, the referee the week before or a week after might not have done the same. And essentially, because of this lack of consistency and clarity, it creates situations where defenders often do not stand in a natural position, but instead try and hide their arms behind their backs, like you will see in this video example here. So again, the blue player, to make sure he doesn't get penalised for handball, puts his arms behind his back, which obviously isn't a natural way to defend the ball. So in terms of handball, a little bit more in terms of background before we touch on law. So obviously players need to understand they take a risk of being penalised when their hand or arm is in certain body positions. But the concept of natural position of the arm is very difficult to interpret, and so because of that, it's been removed. So in previous years, yourself, if you're in an unnatural body position, but again, very difficult to interpret if it's a natural position or unnatural position. So they've got rid of that. Instead, the focus on it now is more factual. So in terms of has the position of the hand or arm made the body unnaturally bigger? So instead of it being in a natural position, it's unnaturally bigger. So has the hand or arm made an effect of creating a bigger barrier for the ball or the opponent, normally which is outside the natural playing silhouette? And again, we'll look at some examples of that a little bit later on. So in terms of what law states, so it is an offence if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand or arm, including moving the hand or arm towards the ball. It's also an offence if a player gains possession or control of the ball after it's touched their hand or arm and then scores in the opponent's goal. So we've got a quick video example of this. So here the ball's come in, it's landed down for the blue player who's then controlled it, as you'll see from the next angle, using their arms. So it's come down, gained control of the ball using their arms, and they've then scored a goal. So I'd like to think that's nothing changed, it's nothing out the ordinary for anyone watching. That's a handball and always has been, always will be handball. So building on from that one, so it is an offence if a player gains possession or control of the ball after it's touched their hand or arm and then creates a goal scoring opportunity. So previous example is that they score a goal, and this example here is they create a goal scoring opportunity. So here's another video just to illustrate that. So yellow player, ball comes off their arm, they control it and get a shot away. So by controlling it with their arm, this player has created a goal scoring opportunity, which obviously in this occasion has not resulted in a goal, but still created that opportunity in the first place. So therefore is handball and needs to be penalised. So we've then got it's an offence if a player scores an opponent's goal directly from their hand or arm, even if it's accidental, including by the goalkeeper. So in this example here, crowded penalty area, ball comes into our white player at the back, they've headed the ball, it's then come off their hand and gone into the goal. So they've scored a goal using their hand, although it's accidental, they've still scored using their hand, so therefore it is handball and the goal needs to be disallowed. So these ones are a little bit different. This is where it's usually an offence, and the reason why usually is bold and underlined is because 9 times out of 10 it will be an offence, but on the odd occasion it won't be, and we'll touch upon one of those examples as we go through these video examples. So it's usually an offence if a player touches the ball with their hand or arm when the hand/arm has made their body unnaturally bigger, which is what we said about earlier. So here's an example here. There's 2 videos in this one, and we're watching our dark blue player. So as this player plays the ball, the blue player's arm comes out, that's made his body unnaturally bigger and created that barrier. And again, another example here, as the player's diving to the floor, the arms come out, it's made the body unnaturally bigger, it's created a barrier, so therefore, it is handball. As you see there, arms come out, and, unless he's a goalkeeper in an outfield shirt, that is most definitely handball. So, some more definitions. So, it's usually an offence if a player touches the ball with a hand or arm when the hand or arm is above or beyond their shoulder level. So, you've got an example here of the ball coming in from a corner, And as the players jumped up, the red players jumped up, and they've put their arm up in the air to try and stop that player from heading that ball towards goal. So again, I'm sure we'll all agree this is handball, and there's no sort of ifs or ups about it. He's made his body unnaturally bigger by putting his arm up and creating that barrier towards where that goal is. There is an exception to this one. This is why it says usually an offence. So it's usually an offence if a player touches ball with a hand or arm when the hand or arm is above or beyond their shoulder level, unless the player deliberately plays the ball, which then touches their hand or arm. So this example here is an England game, England ladies game, where you'll see the player in blue goes to clear the ball. It's come off their foot and then has touched their arm. Their arm has made their body unnaturally bigger. However, the player has deliberately played the ball. They've just been unlucky in that it's scuffed and hit their hand. So on this occasion here, although their arm is in an unnatural body position in terms of it's made their body unnaturally bigger, because the ball's been deliberately played and then hit the arm, it's not handball, and play would resume as per normal. You just play on. There's no further action needed. So except for those above offences which we've already mentioned, it's not usually an offence if the ball touches the player's hand or arm directly from the player's own head or body. So in this example here, we'll see the yellow team going down the wing, and then they will play the ball in, and our white player there is slid across to block the ball, and in doing so the ball was hit off their thigh and bounced up and hit their arm. So their arm has created a barrier from getting the ball through, and has made their body unnaturally bigger. However, the ball has taken a deflection off another part of the body, so therefore that's not handball. You just play on and no further sanctions or consequences. So in this example here, it would be a corner ball and nothing more to it. Similarly, so it's not usually an offence if the ball touches a player's hand or arm directly from the head or body, including the foot of another player who is in close proximity. So in this example here, the ball gets played in by the red team heads it down to their teammate. However, there's a green player standing right behind them and it hits off their arm. So again, because it's in close proximity, the player's got no time to react or change their body or anything like that at all, so therefore you just play on. There's no handball offence there because they've not had that time to change or adapt their body position. We then got, it's not usually an offence if the ball touches the player's arm/hand if the hand/arm is close to the body and does not make the body unnaturally bigger. So again, this example here from Roma Liverpool, ball comes in, player's running down the wing, and as the white player's gone to just catch up the player to potentially make a tackle, as the player's running, the ball has just hit their arm. They've not made their body unnaturally bigger in any way, shape, or form. It's just hit them from close proximity. It's that close proximity which is a key thing, both of that one and the previous example. If they're sort of 5-10 yards away, that's not close proximity, whereas this example here, they're side by side. The previous example, they may be 1 or 2 yards behind each other. So again, no real time to change their body or their positioning to stop handball occurring. So in this occasion, play would continue, no further action required. So except for the above offences, it's not usually an offence if the ball touches a player's hand or arm. When a player is falling and the hand or arm is between the body and the ground to support the body but not extended laterally or vertically away from the body. So we've got this image here just to illustrate that. So if we look at the player's top arm, it's an offence if the ball makes contact, and that's because that arm being up there is making the body unnaturally bigger. Whereas if you look at his second arm, so his left arm, no offence would occur on this one here because that arm is going down to the floor to support the body. That's a natural body movement. A player will naturally put their arm down if they're sliding in or making a tackle like that, and that way when they land, they don't cause as much damage to themselves. They've got something to support themselves with. So if the ball were to hit this hand, no offence would occur and play would continue. So a couple of key changes to consider going into next season. Obviously at the time of recording, we're still in the lockdown period, as it were, due to COVID-19. So these changes here you will not see in the Premier League at the moment. However, when the Premier League starts for the 2020-21 season, whenever that might be, and similarly your games when they start up for the new season, these are some law changes to consider regarding handball. So accidental handball by an attacking player should only be penalised if it immediately results in a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity for the player and or their team to score. So if the player, if it's handball based on the criteria we've seen already, and it doesn't immediately result in a goal, you don't need to penalise it. So if let's take that example when that ball was played in and that white player headed it, hit off the hand and went in the goal. Um, if on this occasion the goalkeeper actually saved it, it's not handball. You'll just continue because it's not immediately resulted in that goal or goal opportunity. Um, so the example it shows here is following the handball, the ball travels only a short distance, and or there is a few passes. So again, if it's not immediately resulting in a goal or goal opportunity, allow play to continue. And then just for some further clarification, for the purpose of determining handball offences, the arm stops at the bottom of the armpit. So essentially from the armpit, and then you just essentially were to slice it all the way up, that's essentially where the arm is. So basically from that shoulder socket in theory, and below is handball. Anything above that is not handball, and that's perfectly fine. So hopefully that session has been of use in terms of going through a little bit more detail in terms of what handball is. If you've got any questions around the session, please do get in touch. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. We're still in the process of making some more sessions specifically for yourself as first year referees. So hopefully we'll be able to bring some of those out soon. However, if there are any sessions that you think would be really beneficial to you to help your development, getting you ready for the new season, please do let me know and I shall do whatever I can to put some sort of session together, be that a live session, pre-recording, some sort of resource sheet, whatever it might be. But again, all you need to do is just let us know and we can see what we can do for you.